National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives resolved to suspend warning strikes. Establishing formal relations with St. Lucia, Prime Minister Philip Fair condemns vilification and denigration of President Bola Tinubu. Nigeria shows Republic of Congo of stronger diplomatic ties. Welcome to the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. We're reaching you live from Abuja. I am Comforts Fashim. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives National Executive Council has resolved to suspend its 7-day warning strike after an extensive review of the Memorandum of Understanding and the agreed time-bound implementation framework. President of the body, Haruna Maman, says NEC acknowledges the positive steps taken by the federal government in responding to the 9 core demands of NANNM, particularly the commitment to clear timelines for implementation and in view of the formal agreements reached, and in line with the principle of dialogue and good faith. NEC hereby suspends the ongoing nationwide strike action with immediate effect.
Implementation of all 9 key demands presented by the association. In view of this development, NEC has directed the immediate suspension of the strike action in line with the principles of dialogue and good faith. NAM expressed appreciation to its members nationwide for their unity, patience, and resilience. The association remains committed to dialogue and continue to champion the right and welfare of Nigerian nurses and midwives.
He said NEC has directed the national leadership to continue monitoring the implementation of the signed MOU and track the government's compliance with the agreed timelines, while state councils are directed to mobilize members for the immediate resumption of duty. NEC resolved that no member of NANNM, including intern and locum nurses, should be victimized for participating in the nationwide strike. NEC appreciates the commitment and solidarity of all members throughout this action and reiterates that NANNM remains steadfast in defending the welfare, dignity, and professional rights of all nurses and midwives in Nigeria. On Wednesday this week, the nurses began a 7-day nationwide warning strike. The strike, according to NANNM's leadership, was aimed at addressing issues including poor remuneration, staff shortages, unpaid allowances, and unsafe working conditions. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip Fair, has condemned what he described as a vilification and denigration of the President of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, by a politically motivated group, tactically supported by the opposition party for his recent visit to the Caribbean country. The Prime Minister, in his state address on the country's 2025 Emancipation Day, came down hard on those vilifying the recent visits. President Tinubu's visit to St. Lucia to establish formal relations with the island and other members of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States was criticized by a section of Nigerians. The Prime Minister described the act as another demonstration of the harmful effects of the legacy of slavery, self-hate, and a readiness to accept African people and their descendants as inferior.
And denigration of the President of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, by a politically motivated group, tacitly supported by the opposition party, was another demonstration of the harmful effects of the legacy of slavery, self-hate, and a readiness to accept African people and their descendants as inferior. That behavior was nothing short of shameful and disgraceful. Had the visit been by a head of state from another country, the reception from that group would have been at the least respectful. To the government and people of the Republic of Nigeria, the government and people of St. Lucia have been honored by the visit of your presidents and look forward to establishing and deepening economic, social, and cultural ties with your country.
He maintains his country's readiness and commitment towards implementing the Memorandum of Understanding between the two countries. Nigeria has affirmed commitment to strengthening diplomatic ties with the Republic of Congo, acknowledging the leadership of President Denis Sassou Nguesso in promoting regional peace and stability, especially across Africa's Great Lakes region. Vice President Kashim Shettima made the commitment while receiving the Prime Minister of the Republic of Congo, Anatole Makosso, at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila has the reports.
Congolese Prime Minister visiting the State House, soliciting Nigeria's support to consider Congo's request in its bid to lead the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who received the Congolese delegation on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, said the issues raised by the visiting Prime Minister, particularly the request for Nigeria's endorsement of Firmin Motoku for the post of UNESCO Director General, will be conveyed to the President.
So on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, I want to register our profound gratitude to President Denis Sassou Nguesso, and by extension yourself and the government and people of the Republic of Congo, for the leadership you have shown and for the stability you are helping to bring to the Great Lakes region. Be rest assured that all the issues raised, especially over your candidature for the Director Generalship of UNESCO, will be conveyed to Mr. President, and I'm hopeful that he is going to endorse your candidate, fundamentally because what binds us together surpasses whatever that divides us.
Je pense que cette fois-ci, surtout pour nous, l'Afrique au sud du Sahara, il est temps que nous puissions.
The Congolese Prime Minister, who delivered a special message from the President of Congo, called for stronger relations between both countries. Matoko joined UNESCO in 1990 and served in general strategic roles, including Director of multiple regional offices, Director of the African Department, and as Assistant Director General for Priority Africa and External Relations. The Prime Minister also thanked the Nigerian government and people for their humanitarian support to Congolese children who benefited from the Rochas Foundation, noting that some of the children, many of whom were orphans, have graduated, while others still in school. He commended President Tinubu's leadership at ECOWAS, the African Union, and the United Nations, just as he condoled with Nigeria over the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari. From the State House, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The federal government of Nigeria has received construction equipment valued at $3.6 billion from the government of Japan. The equipment was received by the Minister of State for Works, Bello Muhammad Gwaranyo, in Abuja, and will be deployed to the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FAMA. Usman Zubairu tells us more.
The glory of God Almighty and to the benefits of mankind. Bismillah.
Congratulations, sir.
The equipment donated by the Japanese government consists of graders, rollers, and other heavy-duty construction machinery. The value of the equipment is estimated at 3.6 billion naira, was received by the Minister of State for Works, Bello Mohamed Goranyu. Described the gesture as a strategic milestone in Nigeria's journey towards sustainable infrastructure renewal. He noted that the donation presents a turning point in the country's effort to maintain and expanding its roads infrastructure. He added that the Japan's generous contribution brings the administration closer to its vision of smoother, safer, and more reliable travels across the country.
It is truly momentous occasion, one that underscores the enduring partnership and friendship between Nigeria and Japan. The strategic importance of this donation cannot be overemphasized. Our roads are the arteries of our nation.
Managing Director Firma Chukwuemeka Abasi assured of optimal use of the equipment, emphasizing that its deployment will reflect on the government's commitment to enhancing the quality of life for its citizens. The donation is expected to significantly strengthen FMR's ability to address road maintenance challenges across the country. In Abuja, Swansburg, NTA News.
Director General, Nigerian Technical Aid Corps, Dr. Yusuf Buba Yakub, has emphasized that President Bola Tinubu is totally committed to the welfare of all volunteers participating in the NTAC biennial program across the globe. He spoke in Abuja at the orientation exercise for another batch of 22 volunteers set to depart for the Gambia. Kelvin Ehonwaye reports.
While commending the government for its commitment to placing Nigeria as a global giant, the DG equally informed that Nigeria was not lacking in skills being deployed for technical assistance to other sister nations across Africa, the Caribbean, and Pacific countries. He also added that every kobo spent in implementing the TAC program is spent on Nigerian citizens, wherever they may be serving. In the joint transition ceremony for volunteers returning from and departing to the Gambia, NTAC also celebrated a team of 15 returning experts from the University of the Gambia who have served in various capacities for the past 2 years and also formally dispatched 22 new volunteers ready to embark on a similar service.
When you go back to your places of work, you cannot be compared with other professors that have not left the four walls of the university. You are now a special breed. You are now prepared for leadership. You can now hold any position of leadership because you have seen what is applicable in the other clime.
Professor Gunduri, the team leader of the new set of volunteers being deployed, expressed gratitude to the President and the NTAC leadership. He pledged that the 22 volunteers carefully chosen for impact and results will serve with honor and dignity for Nigeria. In Abuja, Kelvin Ehonwaye, NTA News.
You're watching the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. We take a break now. More reports when we return.
Feel the power of precision, engineered to perfection. Every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blend in performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
Nasarawa State has joined 12 other states that is now regulating and oversighting their electricity markets in line with the Electricity Act 2023. The sequel to this, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, transfers regulatory oversight of the electricity markets in the state to the Nasarawa State Electricity Regulatory Commission, NASERC. NERC directs Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, to incorporate a subsidiary to assume responsibilities for intrastate supply and distribution of electricity in Nasarawa State within 60 days from 4th of August 2025. All transfers envisaged by the order, NERC says, is to be completed by 3rd February 2026. NERC still retains the role as a central regulator that oversees interstate and international generation, transmission, supply, trading, and system operations of electricity. The Tinubu administration says it remains committed to equitable distribution of the nation's resources and critical infrastructure across the length and breadth of the country in line with the Renewed Hope agenda. Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, stated this at the 2025 dialogue session of the Northern Caucus of the National Forum of Former Legislators, which held in Abuja. He cited ongoing infrastructure projects in northern Nigeria as proof of the administration's commitment to balanced national development.
Critical infrastructure projects have been conceived and implemented to connect every state and region, bringing people together, facilitating trade, and encouraging investment. This administration has commenced the 275 kilometers Sokoto-Gusau Puntua Zaria Road, the 350 kilometer Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road, the 156 kilometer Zaria Hunkuri Road, Jimeta Bridge in Adamawa. To mention for a few.
Community of Action organizations focused on addressing issues around access to sexual and reproductive health rights, information and services targeted at young women and girls, including those living with HIV, disability and in IDP settings, have provided hundreds of young women and girls with comprehensive training on SRHR to improve health outcomes across the country. Olusheye Adiagbo reports that this was through the We Lead project, a program of education as a vaccine and partners.
They make our eye open, they enlighten us about our rights, SRHI services providers.
Awa Ayuba, displaced by conflicts in Adamawa State, shared how she lived for years without awareness of her sexual and reproductive health rights.
I will continue to be using my voices to other young girls in my community.
Her story mirrors that of Ellen Bioko, who highlighted the challenges faced by women living with disabilities and HIV in accessing adequate care.
Women with disabilities, especially deaf women, were not accessing healthcare services. So now the change that's happening now is that we've amplified their voices.
5 years ago, We Lead began.
Thanks to the We Lead Nigeria Impact projects implemented by Education as a Vaccine and other partners, thousands of women, mostly teenagers, have been empowered with knowledge to demand their sexual and reproductive health and rights.
We Lead project transform a lot of people. I mean the vulnerable people.
It's not 100% better. We still have cases of young women being unable to advocate for their sexual reproductive health and rights. But with this project, we've also empowered a lot of women. Again, we can't empower everyone, but we're hoping that these women can cascade the learnings to other women so that, again, we can achieve, if possible, 100% advancement in sexual reproductive health and rights.
For many of the girls, including Awa Ayuba, the initiative has created pathways for them to support others in their communities, while other key actors are urging for increased investments to promote gender equality and support women's leadership in the country. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Service to God and humanity remains a lifelong commitment by individuals, and notably among them are the Order of the Knight of St. Mulumba, who recently inducted 142 new members for the purpose of service to God and man. Daniel Adiri was there and now tells us more.
Oftentimes, the demure look of a black bow tie and tuxedo are associated with red carpets and corporate events. But this event is far from that. It is the acceptance and admission of men and women sworn to be Knights of the Order of St. Mulumba.
Decorated to the lapel of the Order of the Knights of St. Mulumba, Nigeria, and ladies of St. Mulumba, Nigeria. Thanks be to God.
For context, St. Mulumba was a Ugandan Catholic who was persecuted till death for his faith in the late 1800s. He became a martyr, and a century plus later, his legacies live on through groups like the Order of St. Mulumba. With spiritual proceedings over, it was time to wine and dine, and also bask in the euphoria of this new responsibility.
Knights, like I said earlier, they are married Catholics who are communicants and who, in every way, have dedicated their lives, their time, their talent, and their treasure for the service of God and humanity.
To think that this started with only one sub-council in Abuja sometime in 1990, within 25 years or less, 35 years, we will now have over 44 sub-councils with membership strength of almost 2,000 members. It really gives me a piece of joy.
We are here to assist our husbands who are soldiers of Christ. We also teach them how to be calm. Humility, discipline is what we preach to them, especially today, and they agree that they are going to humble themselves.
But even while they made merry, I took time to ask the new inductees what exactly it meant to be inducted into the order.
They do things orderly, they respect themselves, they are known for, doing things in a manner that suggests that they are all Christians.
Initially, it was a scary decision to make because of what we hear from outside. But when we got to know that it was a call to service, a call to defend our Catholic faith, we didn't really need much prompting anymore.
You cannot give God enough compared to what He has given us. But in this case, you are given opportunity to make any attempt towards coming towards coming closer in that perspective.
It is an annual event hosted across the various metro councils in the country. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, NT News.
The 2025 Quranic memorization graduation ceremony, also referred to as Walima in Arabic, was a remarkable event held to honor the accomplishment of students who have completed the memorization of the Holy Quran. This significant milestone reflects the dedication of the school and its staff in nurturing young minds with Islamic knowledge, moral values, and Arabic proficiency from an early age. Sulaiman Abdurwahab reports.
A total of 32 graduates successfully completed the memorization of Quran and participated in the Walima ceremony.
We ask them to come and sit down. After sitting down, we just select any part of the Quran and ask them to recite it off head.
And this tells you the quality of education that is being obtained in that particular school. So definitely the teachers, the management, they are doing more than enough to see to the success of the school.
There is nothing better than the Quran. There is nothing better than Islamic knowledge.
The event was attended by members of Board of Trustees, the Management Committee, and parents who expressed deep satisfaction with the school's achievements.
As parents, we have responsibility towards our children. It's our responsibility to ensure their training and their moral upbringing.
Knowledge is very important in nurturing children. You have to know the technical how of nurturing children according to the tenets of Islam.
The school, which currently has 428 students, supported by 21 academic and 9 non-academic staff, contributing to the students' development. Parents also shared word of advice, emphasizing the importance of Islamic values in raising children.
We are very happy because our teachers helped us to achieve what we are today. We are graduates of the Holy Quran and we have memorized the Holy Quran from A to Z.
The message I have for my parents is that I really appreciate what they did to try on me. I'm proud of them.
They have performed very well. The credit goes to their teachers, to the parents, and themselves.
You should never give up on your dream. Always be consistent, always read, and inshallah, you make it too.
With continuous efforts, the institution remains poised to produce future generations and knowledgeable Muslims youth. In Abuja, Suleiman Tobu Abdul Wahab, NT News.
And that we end the news. Thanks for being a part of it. I am Comfort Fashim.